Hello, welcome back. We're going to be talking about Plantera farming today, as you probably saw from the thumbnail and the title. Very exciting stuff. Um, why, basically. So on my world, I'm trying to collect 100 of every item, um, which is a big challenge. And for Plantera, it is, even more challenging than a lot of other bosses. Because you have no summon item. With most bosses, you can just set up like an invincibility machine, full damage invincibility machine, and just summon it over and over and over again with the summons you farmed elsewhere. But with Plantera, you can't do that because you have bulbs that need to be broken nearby to the player to actually spawn the guy in. That's why I've been kind of like putting off Plantera. I looked at the previous AFK farms that have been made, and well, they're complicated and boring and slow and difficult, and I really didn't want to have to put up with that sort of aggravation. Um, but yeah, I finally took the plunge and did it. I was bored, and I'll show you what it's all about. Um, Essentially, we need to kill a lot of bosses. Ever since 1.4.5, certain things have been, stackable, which is what I'm trying to collect. Um, and the seedling is the kind of rarest thing that I need to get. I'm not really worrying about the axe because I'm not collecting those for reasons I'll talk about in a different episode. Um, so essentially, for a 1 in 15 chance, we need to kill 1,500 Planteras. And the best Plantera farm at the minute runs at around 8 or 9 Planteras per hour, which, you know, that is slow. Um, that would take us around 180 hours to get all of the materials we need, which I wasn't ready to do. So we decided to design another one. Before we look at kind of cool my design, my take on it, I thought we'd want to look at some older designs because I think they're kind of cool and interesting. And honestly, these people have way more style than I do. They've made these places look really nice and really cool, whereas mine are just very practical and look terrible. Um, yeah, this is kind of like the earliest design I could find um, for an AFK Plantera farm. This was created 16 years ago, um, which is, insane. This was 2015. Um, Absolutely insane. You can see there's no logic gates at all in this farm. Um, no, nothing. Um, you have these very old wiring designs with bird cascade timers, these awful, um, long clocks here that are just timer spam over and over and over again. Um, and this one, given the time of the day, probably no T edit, no nothing. You had to do this all kind of by hand, and this was built by hand in his main world. Um, very very innovative and cool for the time. And he got 4 to 5 Planteras per hour. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to have a look at it. Um, only worked on classic mode because that was the only mode there was at the time, and killed Plantera with spear traps. I just think it's very cool. Um, Lots of things to be improved though. um, and we'll see that in kind of the next design. The next kind of major design that was put out was released a few years ago, much more updated, um, by Dirt Fat on the Terraria forums. I'll leave a link to the YouTube video and the forum post. And honestly, it's like a crazy marvel of engineering. Um, essentially how it works is there's a waiting area. You wait for a while here for bulbs to grow. This long 5-second timer thing. Um, and then you go in across here, um, and you're hoiked across, um, actuating all of these things, all of these jungle blocks, um, and then you detect if a Plantera has spawned by getting knocked basically into a pressure plate, um, because you don't have a full damage knockback thing like a shield. Um, if that happens, you're teleported into this invincibility chamber, um, where there's kind of, you spend some time in there, um, just killing it with some spear traps, um, and some summons. Much more updated version, but still it runs at around 8 or 9 Planteras per hour. And this is kind of the final design that I've been able to see um, over the past few years. I think is very cool, but again, to get that 1500 kills, it would take 180 hours um, to get all of that stuff. And I don't have that kind of time. I don't want to leave my computer on for that long. Energy's expensive. So let's have a look at kind of what I came up with. I'm sure we've all kind of seen this design out there. Very awesome design. Works super well. Mappy's railgun for getting up to, you know, super, super high speeds. And I thought, how can we use this? Because I was seeing in my testing of, Plantera bulb spawning, and looking at these other farm designs, what was the actual limiting factor? It really wasn't the Plantera bulb growth. Plantera bulbs, grow, more rarely than most jungle plants, but with a big enough farm, that really isn't an issue. They'll spawn in pretty quickly, especially on a remix world where the update rate is a lot higher in the ground. What was really the main problem was how fast you could kill this thing. Um, so I thought, how do we kill things fast? Mappy's railgun. Um, and that's what we decided to use. Um, but I was having a few problems with this design, um, because red pressure plates and the dummies, um, projectiles could sometimes mess with the machine, making it kind of unreliable in boss fights. So instead, we decided to move to a sort of frozen slime based thing. You can transfer all of your Y momentum to X momentum with some portal guns, um, and you can hold yourself in stasis um, via just teleporting you back. This is how far you go in a single tick. You just teleport back. And yeah, this isn't really fast enough. So we needed to go bigger in order to make sure these Planteras were killed basically in one shot. Of course, with higher velocity, you're going to have different layouts of teleporters that you need. And, having this whole massive setup and building it every time is kind of inefficient if you want to build it in a survival world. So we needed to figure out, which teleporters of these are actually useful. And we did that with, torches. And also for this XY momentum transfer, where should this portal be? And, setting this up again, um, we can test that with this contraption. This is just really, if you're interested, in making maybe a faster one. This is the kind of scuffed setup that I used. Essentially, just testing um, your launch from here and then seeing which um, timers light up, and then you can use that to place your portals. So this one's for 40 seconds, and we'll see what where we go to after 40 seconds. We're launched. We head to the top of the world. Then we just look down at this 5-second timer thing, and you can kind of pretty easily see how far we're moving in a tick. So from here, you can just go here, see the first one. Whoops. And that's around 47 blocks. And so we can, connect this to here instead. And, this is now 47 blocks, as I knew that already, obviously. Using the torches, you can get rid of some things, and we'll, have a look at a more final design. And, this is more like the final design. Get rid of all the unneeded teleporters. And yeah, this is all set up correctly. And you only need this. These 2 teleporters actually aren't really needed. It's just because, that your portal is here. So for the initial one, you actually miss this one, and then you hit this one after I think 2 ticks. That would make sense, kind of looking at the distances. And then after that, you can kind of sit in here. So yeah, once we're, in this setup here, you can pretty easily move yourself, and you can move from setup to setup, or Plantera farm to Plantera farm. And, you can see we're going at 3,740 miles per hour, and that gives your jousting lance, insane damage. And essentially, kind of the hard work is done. All you need to do is place some jungle grass around your ice track, and you're sorted, basically. And yeah, so this is the kind of final version of the farm. You have this kind of setup area with the Mappy railgun, a waiting area. I've cleaned up the wiring quite a lot, made it so you only have to flick one single switch to prime the farm. And then basically you're sent away into these modules. The modules have nice stuff in them, like campfires, gnomes, torch luck, heart thing. It basically double actuates the floor. You sit here for 10 seconds, and then you move to the next one. And this gets you around 90.5 per hour. So, let's have a look at it. What's probably recommended for the farm is using a mob switch. It's over here. I've got this set up so you can use it in a remix world for the higher spawn rates. You get a good armor set. I think I have some good stuff here. You get a jousting lance, some luck stuff, full damage stuff, regen stuff. Hand of Creation can be helpful, and a Stardust Dragon for bees, because that will kill you, especially on higher difficulties. This works on all difficulties, but yeah, let's prime it up. So once you're in your thing, you can change to a loadout that doesn't have the inner tube. You don't need it anymore. Something that has fairly high damage. I think the most important thing really is to have a good regen and good defense, because you will be hit by Plantera a few times. You're going to be healed a lot by it. When you're ready, you go into here, and shouldn't be using that. You just aim up, and I use an auto clicker, basically. Time needs to not be frozen, because otherwise no more bulbs will spawn for you. Plantera will come in, and because you have an auto clicker, you can kill it pretty quickly. Make sure there's space in your inventory for the stuff to go in, because it's useful. Having the treasure magnet is sometimes not very helpful, because um, your items will get caught in between, and actually make it harder to collect them. But yeah, around 90.5 per hour, which I think is pretty good. Yeah. And here we got another one. Let's go out of God mode. Generally, you'll be fine because, once you've killed it, you get a bunch of life from Plantera, and you're all sorted. To leave the farm, I like to use a Rod of Discord. Make sure that the timers are all set back to their normal thing. They will go into this kind of state where it's ready for an activation, from these. So basically, the next time you hit any of these pressure plates, you're going to be teleported here, and you're also going to be teleported here. So sometimes if you leave, you'll leave and it will be in this state, which is not good, because the next time you might come to this one, you'll instantly leave the area, leaving the Plantera trailing behind. Could mess up the farm. To fix that, just do that. Go to the next one and turn that off, before it gets to the next cycle. Another thing that a lot of people have a lot of misinformation about on these kinds of designs is chlorophyte. Um, Chlorophyte actually doesn't spawn on jungle grass. It only spawns on mud, basically. So if the whole farm is jungle grass, you really have nothing to worry about. You don't have to put in loads of chlorophyte to prevent anything from spawning. Just make sure there's no mud, which can be a pain, for building if you use jungle grass seeds. But instead of that, just use mushroom grass seeds, wait till it all grows out, and once it has, contaminate the whole thing. Also, this roof on top is necessary because trees can spawn and they will affect the rates of your bulb spawning. Again, build on a remix world because higher spawns underground. Other important things, yeah, basically, um, bulbs have priority over all other kinds of growing thing other than the life roots, which you can't really effectively stop against. A lot of designs will have like 2 block gaps between each of them to only allow Plantera bulbs to spawn. That's actually unnecessary. The glitch that caused that made you need that is has been patched a long time ago, and Plantera bulbs can overgrow any plant again instead of other than life fruits. But yeah, I think it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty cool. Um, and yeah, on my non-journey mode character, um, I actually pulled the trigger and built the whole thing. Um, this was a long, long time. I built it in a remix world. This is along with all my other types of farms. That shouldn't be like that. Whoops. Um, and yeah, this took a long time, but it was a good distraction from exams. Um, very repetitive, but I think it was a lot of fun to build this. You get lots higher spawn rate, and yeah, well, let's have a look at the spoils. Back on the kind of main world, um, we actually ran the farm overnight, and we've got everything we would possibly need. Um, we got more than this. This was just I only kept the ones without reforges. I have the other ones, the other spoils in another chest, and I just kept the reforgeless ones um, with bags left over, um, thorn hooks. All of it is completed, and you kind of feel empty after you complete something because it's like, what do I do now? Um, I guess all the other ones that I need to be doing, because I need to actually go back and revisit a lot of these in order to get the um, now stackable like master mode pet drops like these, which is a whole new thing to the challenge. But the main thing, which was the seedlers, we have them over here. 103, which, yeah, now I just got to do the rest of these things. Amber mosquitoes are going to be fun. Um, and the Plantera seedlings. Um, but yeah, that will probably wrap it up. I'll probably do like another tour of this world at some point. I've got more time now. Um, and I will also probably get a um, world download on like the Steam Workshop, and I'll put a link for that as well if you just want to look at the farm and maybe build it in your own world. Join the Discord server. I'm happy to explain things further to anyone who would like that. Yeah, basically, cool Plantera farm that's a lot faster than the last ones. See y'all later.